Hello everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. So today we're going to have a quick look at how to find Messier 35 or M35 in Gemini the twins. And not only that, you're going to get two for the price of one, because there is actually a second star cluster in the same field of view, both visually and photographically. And what you're also going to learn about today is something called star hopping, which could potentially save you hundreds of pounds if buying a new telescope, because you'd be surprised how many times you do not need go to find the star clusters, galaxies, etc., just through this simple technique of what we call star hopping. And I will go into that very shortly, so please stick around till the end of the video and let's get started. So in this first image, this is not an image I took off the interweb, it's one I took, it was probably with a stock Canon lens at 30 seconds or so, I can't remember, it was a long time ago, of the constellation Gemini the twins. And what we're looking at here is one of the brightest stars, well, the brightest star, called Pollux. And just up from there we find a star called Castor, and this is a nice double star, by the way. Through most telescopes you do need a little bit of high magnification, but we'll go into that in a bit more detail later on. So then we begin star hopping. So now we find ourselves at Epsilon Gemini, or Mepsutsa, sorry if I pronounce that incorrectly. This is a magnitude 2.88 giant star. And so from here we move on to Mu Gemini, or Tejat, and this also is a giant star, magnitude 2.88. So from there we continue this star hopping. Are you getting the hang of this now? And we find Eta Gemini, Propus or Propus, and this magnitude is 3.28 and another giant star. And so continuing on our little star hopping journey, we'll reach a star called 1 Gemini. Getting a little bit fainter now, 4.16, and again this is a giant star. It may not look it, but believe me, it is. So then we make a little triangle here, not quite equal sides, but at the top of it you'll see a little fuzzy blob, and that is Messier 35 or M35. And as we move on, we just then zoom in a little bit, and this again is an image that I took through a Celestron Travelscope 70. It was on a driven EQ mount for around about 30 seconds at high ISO, and there you can see M35 in the lower center of the image. And this contains around about 100 stars, and it's around also 100 million years old, which does sound very old, but in astronomy terms it is very young. And as we then crop in a little bit, well, you can actually see before we crop in a little fuzzy, another fuzzy blob, another small cluster just to the lower right hand side. And this is NGC 2158, and this one has a magnitude of 8.6. and if you was perhaps not looking for M35, if M35 wasn't in shot, you probably wouldn't have even noticed this. And so this is around 2 billion years old. So it's much older than M35, and so much further away. I think about 9,000 light years further away. And so you can see that here that they're both very much in the center of view, and zooming in even more it becomes a bit more apparent. It still looks like there's nothing there, but it's a much more compact star cluster than M35, and in the early years they did actually think it was a globular cluster, but it is actually a loose cluster. And going back to M35, the main star of the show, you will notice some red stars in there, some purple stars, and you know these will be super giant stars, the red stars especially. So you know, look into M35, do a little bit of research online and find out about these stars within within this loose cluster. It really is a glorious sight through telescopes. Binoculars show it well. See if you can pick out NGC 2158 next time you see it. Obviously, if you're looking through a Newtonian reflector, it will be on the other side. See if you can get an image of it, and whether or not you're looking at it through the eyepiece or you're taking an image, please let us know about it in the comments and how you got on. So, as always, thank you very much for watching. I hope this helps. Please hit that subscribe button, and I shall see you next time.